Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today I'm back up joined once again by Trevor and Fluff.
Hello.
What's going on, beautiful people?
And today we are going over the Bardock crew cards that were released on Saturday, starting with the leader. Oh, before that, there's buttons. You know what to do. Click them, put stuff down there in the comments. We got you. Alright, Bardock's crew. On the front side of Bardock, if it's your turn, when you play a Bardock's crew card, you draw one card. That's about it. But the Awaken on this card is really strong. When your life is 4 or less, that's normal, or there are 4 or more Bardock crew cards with different card names in your Z energy, battle area, and or drop, you may draw one card, switch to one of your energy active mode, and add cards from your life to your hand. So you have 6 left and flip over. My only concern with that, I think that's great. It just gives you a really strong ability to awaken potentially on turn 2. But you do need to see 4 different Bardock crews, and sometimes RNG is not in your favor, and that can be really rough.
Yeah, and it's card name, not character name. So if assuming we do end up getting like a Borgos and then a Borgos ape, or a Tora and a Tora ape, so on and so forth, they could be 2 different Toras or 2 different Borgos, Shigesh or Fasha, that count towards this.
Yeah, and I think if you go second, this will be a lot more consistent because you can always combo off like a 1 cost that you play to a cantrip, and then combo it off, send it to your Z energy. The Z energy area is completely uninteractable right now, so whereas if you just play a 1 drop, it could be removed and slow your awaken curve.
Alright, going into the Awakened side though, Bardock, Inherited Will. Auto once per turn when you play a Bardock crew card, draw 1 card. Now it's no longer locked to your turn, it's just if you do it in your turn or your opponent's turn. Auto when this card attacks, use up to 1 yellow Bardock crew card with 5,000 combo power from your drop and a combo with skills negated for the turn. Activate main, once per turn, choose 1 Bardock crew card in your battle area, switch it to rest mode, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, and KO it. So that's pretty good. The active main, there's gonna be a lot of cards obviously with the set that will, you rest it, it restands. We've already seen that already with some of the superhero stuff, I think it was. And we've seen stuff like this in the past with like androids and whatnot. My only concern is that it has to be in rest mode for your opponent's card. It doesn't switch it to rest mode. So depending on the situation, this may not come in handy at all, except for just kind of going off one of your own card effects for putting into rest mode and restanding it.
You know, I think it'll more often than not be a relevant effect. More importantly is we have older Bardock crew support that is going to fit very well into this leader's overall effect. We have Raiders Warcry, we have the 3-drop Bardock promo card, the tournament championship card, that both play each other when they're comboed. And I think those are going to fit in really well. So Raiders Warcry now becomes a draw 2, essentially, rest a card. And then you can use this leader's effect to tap the Raiders Warcry, pop a card, or tap something else, pop the card that the Raiders Warcry tapped. Like, I see a ton of synergy, and I think this leader is actually pretty good.
Man, Fluff over here with the big brain plays. I'm just thinking about the one of the upcoming cards that works with this activate main, because when you switch it to rest mode via skill, it restands, so you're basically popping an opponent's card for free. Which we'll get to it here in a moment. But obviously, anytime you can, I think this deck's going to be the better of the 2 we've seen so far to utilize Z energy, but we haven't seen any like Z battle cards for this deck yet. So, it's kind of, I think the power of this deck will go up a tier depending on how good the Z battle cards are.
Absolutely.
But we did get a Z leader, which is Bardock Sane Determination. Double strike, Z awaken for 1 yellow if your life is 3 or less. Auto once a turn when you use a Bardock crew card in a combo, you draw 1 card. Activate main, once per turn, choose up to 1 of your Bardock crew cards, switch it to rest mode, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, negating their skills return and KOing them. And then it has the activate battle once per turn. If it's your turn, For each Bardock's crew card with a different character name in your Z energy, this card gets plus 3,000 power for the battle. Initially, that can be, since it says character name in this situation, 15k.
Which making the leader a 35k double strike. That's huge.
Yeah,
I have no complaints about this Z Awaken leader. The first act or the activate main is incredibly strong. The auto is incredibly strong. And the activate battle is incredibly strong. There's just nothing bad about this Z leader.
yeah, and where your life only has to be at 3 or less, that's achievable without too much worry. Unlike, say, the King Piccolo one where you have to be at 2. I think that this is really showing that this is going to be one of the better Z Awaken leaders this set.
Mm-hmm.
With your all's rule knowledge, with everybody's worry about this red Gogeta next set, would his activate main on this, since it negates these skills, allow you to remove that Gogeta 8?
The permanent says that the Gogetas, it can't be affected by other non-Gogeta skills.
Right. Where this
So-
says negates the skill, though, I guess
But you
that's
can't
my question.
negate the skill of a card that's not affected by skills.
Gotcha.
Right.
Good to know.
Going into our Bardock card, Bardock Inherited Might, Deflect, Blocker, Revenge. When this card is played from your hand, place up to 4 non-Bardock Bardock crew cards with different character names from your drop under this card, and you can't play battle cards for the turn. Activate main for 3 energy if there are 4 more Bardock crew cards with different character names in your energy, Z energy, battle area, and or drop. Play this card from your hand. Activate battle. If your leader card is Bardock's crew card, your opponent has 3 or more energy, and you use 1 card from under this card in a combo. Switch this card to active mode. So this is either a super defensive card, or it's going to be a super offensive card. Initially, you pay 3 energy, and then because the activate battle does not specify whose turn, it's not limited by any means. So as long as your leader's Bardock's crew card and your opponent has 3 or more energy, and you use 1 card from underneath this card in a combo, switch this card to rest mode. Okay, Did I just miss something though? How can you use a card from underneath this card as a combo though?
When you
part of the
play it,
activate
you have
battle.
the auto when you play it from your hand. You place up
When-
to 4 cards underneath it.
But how do you take the cards out from it? You know what I'm saying?
It's part of the activate battles.
Okay.
Yeah. So and you use 1 card from under this card in a combo, switch this card to active mode. So it's just under the activate battle. So basically, auto, when this card is played from your hand, you're going to load it up with up to 4 cards, and then you're going to use the activate battle to spend those as combo pieces and to restand. So one thing that you could do is if your opponent's at 1 or 2 life and you've got a Champa in hand, you could spend that activate battle and get rid of all 4 of those cards, combo with all 4 of them, and make this guy 1 gigantic strike. Or you could make it multiple, 25 to 35k strikes. Or you could save it defensively, like Bancroft said, and block this attack, revenge, destroy the card, activate battle, so on and so forth until your opponent isn't able to get through this card or combos out and kills it.
Yeah, I think this card is nutty. It, of course, like every other boss card, this set has deflect, so it's hitting the board. And it doesn't have a reduced cost, you just activate main to play it, so you don't have to worry about that. So I think this card is going to really allow players that like versatility in their decks to love it. So I think this card fits super well into like our local Jake's playstyle, where he can go aggro when he wants to, or he can sit back and play defensive. The fact that this card has revenge, I think it's probably going to be better on the defensive end, because you can basically get a 30k revenge blocker 3 times or 4 times to really slow down your opponent's turn if they're a battle card centric deck.
One thing that I'm a little bit I wish the card had barrier. Just because if a card doesn't have barrier, you can't expect that card to stick around for more than a turn. And it's possible that your opponent could remove this card by skill before you're able to even utilize that. So in a way, I kind of disagree that this card is better defensively. I believe this card is probably better offensively. Just because it's so easy to remove cards by skill in today's meta.
Moving over to Great Ape Toa, Saiyan Potential. Unique blocker. Permanent if this card is in rest mode. Your opponent can't attack your leader cards with battle cards. Auto, limit 1 for 1 energy. If your leader card is Bardock's Crew card and its back is facing up at the end of the battle where this card was used in a combo from your hand, play this card from your drop. Auto, once per turn, if it's your turn, when this card is switched to rest mode by one of your skills, switch it back to active mode. This is kind of what Trevor had mentioned earlier with the leader. There's no other benefit to it, just kind of getting the free pop a card effect.
I think this card's fantastic. It's low energy investment. It synergizes incredibly well with the leader. It's going to synergize with something like Planet Vegeta that's going to allow it to restand at the end of the turn and then be a blocker. I really, really, really like this card. There's just not a lot about this card that I don't love.
And if it survives the block, say you combo with something so you can ramp more stuff into your Z energy, then it's a deadly defender. So in that case, it can block 2 attacks to your leader.
Yep.
So it's just becomes a question of, do you really do you need that Z energy to warrant keeping this guy around for that deadly defender effect?
Yeah,
Yep.
and the first auto isn't locked to a turn, so you can always just, your opponent swings 15k, no combo. All right, cool, I'll combo with this, pay 1, play it now. So for 1 energy, you comboed out a card, and you stop another attack still. Great Ape Bardock, Saiyan Potential. Deflect, auto for 1 yellow energy. If you have 3 or more yellow energy, when this card is played, play up to 2 Great Ape Bardock crew cards with different character names and energy cost 3 from your deck with the skills negated for turn. Then shuffle your deck, activate main, limit 1 for 1 yellow energy if your leader card is Bardock's crew, and there are 4 or more Bardock crew cards with different card names in your energy battle area and or drop. Play this card from your hand, draw 1 card, place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck. That's really good. For 2 energy initially, you can play up to 3 battle cards. Keep in mind, the one we just talked about, Toa, is also a 3 cost, and I think, Fluff, you looked into it, there's another 3-drop yellow one from back in the day, but I assume we're gonna get more of this set as well, though.
Yeah, I think most of the Great Apes this set will be 3 drops. And then I imagine we'll see 1 or 2 drops for their lower forms before their Great Apes. I think this card is absolutely fantastic. It creates a ton of pressure. It creates a ton of defense. I love the fact that this guy has deflect, so he's going to get at least, his on-play auto off for coming onto the field. So I think this guy it's just grade A, and it makes me really excited for the Bardock crew coming.
Yeah, I think this card is really good. The only thing that I'm wondering, because obviously you have to play this on turn 3 because you have to have 3 or more yellow energy. Usually with yellow, that would leave you with 1 open, and you would want to play Robotic Riposte on your opponent's turn to floodgate if they're going for kill. But the issue is with this leader to awaken on turn 2, you basically have to have 2 Bardock's crews in your energy. So you would only be able to get the Robotic Riposte energy cost down to 2, because you would only have 1 extra card in your energy on turn 3, most likely, unless you've played other extra cards on other turns to get them in your drop.
And it really depends. We may end up getting a free extra card with this archetype, or an extra card that might play a Great Ape. So there may be something coming down the pipe that makes Robotic Riposte a little bit more accessible. I do absolutely agree with that sentiment, though.
And I will point out, I mean, even if you wait to turn 3 to awaken, you're paying 2 energy for this chain, and then you immediately awaken because now you've pulled out 2 more Bardock crew cards to put into your battle area, which then put you at 2 energy for your turn 3. Yeah. So that is today's reveals. We had, like I said, Bardock crew, pretty cool. Kind of excited for it, but I think I'm excited for every archetype we get. Fluff, would you lead us out?
I've definitely been excited by just about every archetype that we've seen so far. As always, read your cards, know your plays, let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to, and fluff out.